Why's fish? I like fish. I will eat the fish, please. Fish, fish, fish. Num, num, num in my tum. Good boy. He's a big boy. Anyway, welcome to the Attach Pass podcast. My name is Ben. I'm joined by Beth.
Hi, Ben.
They get weirder every single time I do this.
Honestly,
every single time.
Every single time we get a different intro that's absolutely crazy.
It's random. Yep. I mean, today is because the cat is currently sat on top of the fridge. We are in my dining room today. So we were in the studio with Morgan 2 episodes ago. No, Morgan 2 episodes ago. We're in my garden with you last episode, and now we're in my dining room.
We're doing literally going to be like a tour until you've got the studio built at this rate.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to be working on it. So, my cats do run wild. So if we get interrupted by a cat at any point, then please excuse us. But if one comes by, I might just pick him up and start stroking him. So cats.
Yeah. Most likely Casper.
Most likely Casper, although he's currently sat on top of the fridge, which is the first time I've seen him do that. Anyway, Beth. What are we going to talk about on today's podcast?
So, a bit behind some of the other podcasts out there, but we're going to be having a little discussion through the Shrouded Fable cards and how we think that's going to have a little bit of shake-up in the meta.
Yep.
Because looking at what's happening in Japan, it is going to have a little bit of a shake-up and make some changes, which is going to be our Worlds format this year.
Yes, yeah, Shrouded Flabel.
Flabel.
Yeah, coming soon to a brand new Flabel of Shroudeds. Pokemons. Flabel. Isn't there no, it's... What's the Pokemon?
Flababababel?
Flababababel. Shrouded Flababababel. Why is it not called that?
I don't know.
The whole set is just different Flababababels. Anyway, back to a real...
set.
Shrouded Fable is going to be quite interesting. It's a half set that comes in effect just before Worlds.
Yes, it does.
Half set, in case you guys aren't aware, means that it's not going to be general booster box release. There's going to be no pre-release for it. It's ETBs and booster bundles.
Yeah, but the booster bundles don't release till September.
Do they not? So it's just ETBs?
It's ETBs and then box sets, what's got the Greninja and the
Kingdra. Yeah.
Which I do really like those, to be fair.
Yeah, they're pretty cool. We'll get onto those into that. But yeah, it's... the Greninja is the current EX from Twilight Masquerade,
yes,
and the Kingdra is from Shrouded Fable, which we'll talk about. It's quite an interesting card. It's so basically just going to be ETBs and boxes to start with, which is crazy. Like general release, available for Worlds. The main bulk of the product doesn't come out until after Wild.
Yeah. So.
Wild. I guess they sell a lot of ETBs that way.
Yeah, I guess so. Since those cards legal in Shining Fates, not Shining Fates, Paldean Fates that were legal for Liverpool that people dove to get their hands on the day before. Yeah,
I'm definitely one of those people. I opened 10 ETBs.
You opened a mad amount of ETBs, and ETBs was the only product that released that day.
That's the thing. We drove down to Liverpool on the Friday.
Yes.
Right? Friday morning, bought 10 ETBs off a friend of mine and just ripped them all before I finished packing my bag. I was trying to find that Guardy.
Yeah.
I did.
You got one,
yeah.
And then you bought the second.
And I bought the second. It was okay.
And you like a madman had to play it in your deck.
To be fair, I did also pull like 3 Mew out of those 10 ETBs.
Of course you did.
Yeah, of course I did. I made my money back.
Of course you did.
Yeah, just...
like a madman.
Yeah, it was great. It was good fun. But I won't be doing the same thing for Shrouded Fable. Like, there's some really cool cards in here, which we'll go through. Yeah. But yeah, so that's interesting to say the least. And then, we're going to talk about...
the World's qualification structure that's been rumouring around on the Pokemon Twitter right now.
Yes.
And have our little talk about our opinions on it.
Yeah.
And what we've been seeing online.
And... we alluded to it last podcast. I think they should up the CP limits, but I think everything else should pretty much stay the same. We'll go through in detail. We'll talk about that, like what we think they should be, whether the rumours are good, bad, ugly, whatever, and we'll go through there. I think it'll be a pretty interesting topic, depending on how long Shrouded Fable takes us. It's only a half set, so there's only 64 new cards in it, I think.
I've got the list up off of Justin Basil,
yes.
like always.
At justinbasil.com, they do a really, really good set of images. Sometimes they're translated, sometimes they're not.
All these are translated now, which
Yes.
is great, which is another good reason why we've left it so long. We get all the translated cards and have actually seen them in action in Japan.
Yeah, and we can see the set in its entirety, right? Like,
Yeah.
we don't have to question or anything. Yeah, there's 64 base cards before Secret Rares, 94 in total. This is the set that includes the Gold Earthen Vessel and the Golden Hourglass.
Which Ben's going to be diving his hands on them earthen vessels.
Yeah, I need 4 vessels minimum. What I'm really sad about is this set, and we'll get to the, I guess, the theme of the set soon.
Yep.
But this set is all about dark Pokemon, really.
Oh yeah, it is.
Yet they still haven't, in an English language, printed the Gold Dark Energy for the new style that they have already done in Japan.
Yeah.
Because they did it for Crimson Haze, I think it was.
I want to say it was.
Or was it the one before that?
No, I want to say it was Crimson Haze. We should have. They don't always translate 1-to-1, but if they translated 1-to-1, we should have had it in our
Twilight Masquerade. Right? Because Crimson Haze was...
Yes, Crimson Haze was in Twilight Masquerade, so
Yeah.
yes, it would be Twilight Masquerade that it should have been in on.
Yeah.
Which, unfortunately, it wasn't.
Which was weird. It feels like they either omitted it or forgot it.
I think it might be a case of that the set was so large as it is anyways, because it is quite a bulky set.
Yes, yeah.
I think they admitted it to put it in a later set, because we've had that happen before where cards have been left out and they've been printed at a later date instead.
Yep. Which, you know, it is fine. I just would have expected it to come with the dark set if they're not.
Yeah.
Like,
no, I can understand why you would think that.
I'm salty because I like dark Pokemon.
You're salty because you like max rarity and everything.
Yes, also dark's like probably one of my favourite types, if you like. Which is weird because my favourite Pokemon's Gumi, which is a dragon, not a dark Pokemon. Right? But I love the visual design of dark Pokemon. I love the dark energy. I love the mechanics. Dark Patch is probably one of my favourite cards in the game. It's a lot of fun. Mm-hmm. And then, obviously, Shrouded Fable, this set, is pretty much all dark Pokemon.
Yeah, it's a good bulk dark Pokemon. There is a few other bits that aren't dark Pokemon coming.
Yep.
That are really nice and could have a little impact on some non-meta decks.
Yep.
But some interesting decks nonetheless.
Yeah, so with that, let's dive straight into Shrouded Fable. I think the things we're going to sort of look at and talk about are usually either Pokemon with abilities,
Yep.
Or we're going to talk about big EXs and things like that, and trainer cards. We're not going to talk about the Joltik, for example, that is the first card in the set. The link to this from Justin Basil will be in the description, so if you want to go and look through the entire set with translations, you absolutely can do. But I'll be whacking them up on screen. I'm going to see if I can find some English translation versions.
Yeah, I know there's a few out there already what Pokemon have leaked themselves.
Yep.
Because sometimes Pokemon do like putting the cards out themselves in English before we get to see them in Japanese, which is nice sometimes because we get to see some nice funky art.
Yep. We get to see some really cool stuff. And yeah, so our first thing, I guess, to look at here is not the Joltik, but its bigger brother, the Garvantula.
Yeah, that's exactly the first one I was looking at.
Yeah, so this is a Stage 1 Pokemon. It's got 100 HP and it's grass. We've got an ability called Compound Eyes, which says this Pokemon's attacks does 50 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon with an ability. So, you know, we're doing X plus 50 for the active Pokemon as long as it's got an ability. Its attack is then grass colourless, which is nice that it's not double grass. Because we can accelerate to it with like Xatu and things like that if we wanted to. And it's Shocking Web, 50 damage, plus if it has any lightning energy attack, it does 80 more damage. So that's 180 if there's an ability and if there's lightning energy.
The nice thing about this one is it's a one price Pokemon that can one-shot Zard.
Yes, it is. Do you know what's also nice? We have an electric Joltik in format.
We do as well.
So why not Generator to the Joltik?
Generate to the Joltik.
Generate to the Joltik, manually attach to the Garvantula.
One-shot Zard.
Yeah.
Wow.
Generators, baby!
You just gotta hit them gens.
Yep, and I hate generators as much as it is, so we'll probably not be hitting those gens for me. But I think it's like, what I really like about them bringing these sort of not off-type, but different type evolution Pokemon to what you would expect is that you can utilize for certain mechanics in the game the lower evolution in a different type.
The nice thing I like is that they've started to do some Pokemon in their secondary typing more.
Yep.
Rather than just sticking to the primary typing where you would have assumed a Garvantula would be. Electric, because that is its primary typing.
Yep.
However, a lot of people forget that it has
Bug?
got grass. It's a bug. It's got bug typing in the game, which in the TCG translates to grass because we don't have a bug type.
Yes. It does open the opportunity, I think, in the future and probably soon, because to potentially bring back dual types. Yeah. We've seen it on abilities so far.
We've seen it on abilities.
I think with the way that Pokemon is going, we are seeing more older mechanics come back, like EX Pokemon.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess older mechanics. It's just a V with a different set of letters behind it, right? Essentially.
There's some with V's. There's some that are going like back to the beginning of the game that have just been reprinted over time. Coming back.
Which is going to be interesting. Like we had Big X, Big E, Big X. We've had Big E, Little X. We've had Little E, Little X.
And now we've got Little E, Little X again.
But in bigger font.
Yeah.
Weird. Anyway, so I reckon we're going to end up seeing things like tag teams come back, and we're going to see dual typings come back, or more Pokemon with an ability to give them dual typing.
I could see more Pokemon with abilities to give dual typing, because I think if they were going to keep pure dual typing in the game, they wouldn't have got rid of it in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's going to be more ability-wise that they're going to go.
Potentially. It could just be a rotational thing.
Be, yeah.
What I would like to see, actually, before we continue, is, and they haven't done this as far as I'm aware, is a Pokemon with 2 abilities.
No, I haven't seen any.
Right? I know it's a lot of space on the card, but you've got graphic designers, use them. But it would be nice to see a card with 2 abilities.
Yeah.
Just to spice it up a little bit.
It'd
or
be interesting.
A conditional ability.
Yeah.
Like once per turn, you can either do this or this.
Yeah, that would be nice.
So the flexibility is there, which would be kind of cool.
Yeah, and that makes it more your decision making a little bit more important if it is a meta relevant card that's on.
Yeah, and I think the moment you give people decisions, the more decisions you give people, the better the game is. The less linear it feels, the more ways you've got to be able to combat things, which is quite cool.
And also the more time you see the higher quality players shine through and the lower quality players fall where they fall.
Yeah. Anyway, so that was Garvantula. I think he's pretty cool. One shot on his odds, nice.
Yep.
Electric Joltik's pretty memey in format. It's kind of cool. But you never know.
The next one I want to touch on, though, and you will know that I did play this deck at once upon a time.
I've got it up already.
The Dartrix that has United Wings, which now means we'll have 4 United Wings Pokemon in the format.
Yes.
Which
Flamigo,
Murkrow, and
Wattrel. What? Yeah.
And Dartrix is the 4th one.
Is it only 4?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought there was 5.
No.
Ah. It's bad though.
It is bad, but you're never going to really use it if you're going to play United Wings. You're going to put it in the bin.
But this is the problem, right?
Yeah.
Every other United Wings attacker is basic.
Yeah.
Right? Every single one.
Yep.
Your archetype that you created was a single prize basic Pokemon that rely on you putting stuff in the bin.
Yep.
Which was great. You had typing spread. Okay, sure, you had the colourless of the Flamigo. You have the dark of the Murkrow. You had the electric of the Wattrel.
Yep.
Right? Nice little typing spread. I would expect the next United Wings to be on a basic.
Yeah.
And a different type of basic, i.e. grass.
I would have expected it to be on the Rowlet instead of the Dartrix.
Yeah. Which would have been nice.
It would have been, yeah.
I'd have probably made the Rowlet 70 HP or 60 HP. It is 70 HP,
70
yeah.
HP.
I'd have probably made it maybe 60 if you're going to give it that attack. But, you know, I mean, sure, it's 1 colourless, which is quite nice for the Ditto, because it means that you can just, I mean, the Murkrow is 1 colourless too. But yeah, it just feels like it's
an afterthought.
It's kind of there, but it's not.
I'm not saying it's going to be any good. It's just a bit of fun to bring.
I wish it was good though. This is the problem.
I know. I wish it was good too. Like
Birds.
You know how much I loved playing United Wings at one point in time. I rocked it at League Nights for a few weeks in a row because I enjoyed the deck.
I ended up getting your stamped Murkrows off you, didn't I?
You did, yes.
They're upstairs.
You got my stamped Murkrows off me because I decided I no longer wanted to play United Wings.
Yeah.
I've still got the basic versions of the cards in case I wanted to bring it back and just rock it for like a blast from the past for 1 week.
I mean, what do we go up to? We go up to 16, so it's 320 damage, which is it's okay, but you are committing 16 Pokemon that you have to then bin, and you've got to run your setup, and you've got to run your support,
and you've got to run your Dittos.
You're running like 30 Pokemon.
Yeah, it's a very Pokemon heavy deck if you're gonna
And the problem is you don't want to start with your United Wing stuff on the board unless it's the Flamigo. Which
you don't want to start with Flamigo on the board.
On the bench, right?
You want to be able to bench it turn 1. Because of the ability to allow you to search out your other Flamigos.
See, this is the problem. The deck feels so pre-release powerful, but not post-release powerful.
It is a deck that will be a fun deck.
Yeah.
But that's it. It is not one that is ever going to be meta-relevant, I don't think. And I think Alex Szymanski's top 64 last year at NAIC is the best we're ever going to see of a United Wings deck.
Yeah. Unless they print some wild attacker.
Yeah, unless they print something absolutely bat out of hell crazy.
But they've not got long, right? Because Sudden Transformation Ditto disappears
next year. If they keep in line with the rotation they've currently set.
Yeah, which traditionally they have done so far for the past couple of years.
Yeah, for the past 2, they've kept it at EUIC, so I'd expect we're seeing that going forward, but you never know. Sometimes they decide to do something crazy and do an extra rotation because they print something that breaks the game and they have to do an early rotation to get rid of a card that helps it.
Yeah, they don't want to ban cards. Pokemon's like very, very rarely banned cards. It has done it before, but it's very rarely banned cards.
They've done bans before they could get a rotation in place before. So they could do a quick rotation not long after, but stop them from breaking the game. And they have banned cards a while ago, but I haven't seen any done for a long time. I think it was either X, Y, or Sun and Moon the last time they banned something.
Yeah.
And I think it was Lysander's Trump card.
Yes, the one that lets you play 3 supporters, including that one.
Oh, no,
that's Surge's.
That's Surge. Lysander's Trump card is where you shuffle your discard
into deck. Yeah, stupid card. Anyway, so yeah, Dartrix, United Wings, kind of cool. We'll see what comes of it. Decidueye, nothing to talk about, I don't think. Tapu Bulu, maybe?
Maybe, with the 220 damage. It's doing quite a lot of damage for a basic 1 prizer.
Like, it's one shot in Zard, it's one shot in Chempao, it's one shot in basic Vs.
Miraidon.
One shot in most EXs, basics. Most. Not all, most.
There's the odd 1 or 2 it's not, but most of them are.
It's 2 grass, 2 colourless, and a 3 retreat cost.
Yeah, it's a heavy commitment to that deck.
Like, what you have to do here, the best way to power this up, I think, is it currently, without looking at the rest of the set, is Teal Mask Ogopon Myriad Shower. Dance. Energy Switch, Attach for Turn, Gardenia's Vigor.
Yeah. That is the best way to set it up.
And this has to be on your bench for Vigor to work.
Yep.
So you've got to get 4 energy on it before it hits.
You've got to have a pivot in the active or a switch in hand.
Mental.
It is just so much to commit to one Pokemon.
Yeah.
Granted, it's 140 HP, which is a bit big when you're not dealing with EXs.
Well, it's 110 because it does 30 damage to itself.
110.
So
yeah.
I like it. I think if it was 1 less pip on the energy, I think it would be really playable.
If it was 1 less pip, but I think they've had to put that extra pip there because otherwise it's just stupid damage for a basic Pokemon. Yeah.
So there's Bulu. Houndour's cute. Houndoom has an interesting attack, but
it's got an interesting one, but I don't think it's going to do anything really.
It's 3 energy. It deals 100 damage during your opponent's next turn. The defending Pokemon's attacks do 100 less. Just switch it out.
You just switch it out.
Not great.
It's not. Iron Moth ain't great.
It depends how much Ancient Box pops up, right?
Future Box.
No. Ancient Box, like his attack does 120 damage during your opponent's next turn. Prevent all damage done to this Pokemon by your opponent's Ancient Pokemon.
Oh yeah, I forgot to read that in,
but like it depends how much Ancient Box comes up. But also just switch it out.
You've got Boss Catcher,
Prime Catcher. Yeah, not great.
It's not good enough. Like you're not gonna play that, especially for a three energy commitment.
Yeah. Now, Kingdra. That's the next one on this list.
That is the next one on this list, and I absolutely love this.
Go on, talk through it.
So, it's got 2 attacks. The first one is Royal Command for 1 water energy.
Yep.
Put up to 3 water Pokemon from your discard pile onto your bench, which I think is a little bit stupid.
It's really crazy. Like
it's really crazy.
It can be stage 1s, 2s, V-stars, Vs, basics,
all you have to do
anything.
Is get them in there. Get them in your discard, and you can put them back out. So you could literally get a Kingdra in your discard, grab it out, put it on your bench next to at that attack.
Yeah, for 1 water.
For 1 water.
And 2 Baxcalibur. Because you can, what you could do is you could get double Excalibur plus Kingdra.
Dismantle.
Setup done.
And
you can't Devo me.
And you can place your powers.
Yeah.
Yeah. It gets around Devo quite nicely. I really like this card. Even though the primary one you will be attacking with will be a Devo, probably.
Yeah.
And then for 2 colourless, it is Hydro Pump. 50 plus damage. This attack does 50 more damage for each water energy attached to this Pokemon, which is why Ben has mentioned that you need Baxcalibur, really.
Yeah.
You need to be using Baxcalibur to be accelerating your energy to Kingdra, just to be able to pump that water damage up.
Yep.
However, you don't have to discard them.
No, which I really quite like.
I really quite like that too.
Do you know what I do like in this deck? The Supporter Lady.
Yes.
Right? The amount of people that forget this exists. It's such a deck for 4 basic energy.
Yep.
Put them in your hand.
It is stupid.
Like, it's 2 Earthen Vessels without discard. If you've got that plus, that's 200 damage right there.
Okay, so for first turn...
Actually, no, it's not. It's 250.
Yeah.
Please excuse my cat. Are you alright, buddy?
Is Casper okay?
Yeah, he's fine. Oh. This one is being a menace. Do you not like Kingdra? Oh, it's fish. I like fish. I will eat the fish, please. Fish, fish, fish. Num, num, num in my tum. Good boy. Anyway, so it's 250 damage.
Yep.
If you've got Chen Power to drag stuff out, you can drag stuff out with that. Earthen Vessels.
Yep. I like Earthen Vessels for the early game, especially because it gets you your water Pokemon into your discard pile.
Yeah. The problem I've got here
Yep.
is it is a stage 2 itself. So you need to almost, I think, with this Pokemon, assume that the first one you play is going to die.
Yes, you do.
And have a second one set up off the Royal Command.
Yep.
To be able to then use that to knock everything out.
Yes, I agree. I have the same view to it. However, it is 310 HP, so it is a tanky boy.
Yeah, it's pretty tanky. And if you manage to, I don't know, if you wanted to put a rigid band on there, it takes it to 350.
Yes, it does.
Or technically...
No, it's stage 1s with rigid bands.
Oh, it's stage 1 rigid bands, isn't it?
Yeah, stage 1s.
Okay,
so
maybe
rigid
not
bands
then.
Do not get.
I mean, Hero's Cape, 410.
I think there's better options than Hero's Cape.
Yeah, so do I.
Deck.
So do I. Prime Catcher's incredible.
Prime Catcher, you've also got Secret Box that I think would be okay in that deck because if you can get it early, you're discarding 3 water Pokemon basically.
Yeah, you're doing really good with that. I think it's interesting. I'd like to build it and play with it.
It's one that is on my list to look at when the set officially launches, just to have a play about with and see if it can do things in a best of 3 format, since we're seeing it do decently over in Japan.
Yeah. Yeah, the issue I've currently got with it is I think it takes a little bit longer to set up than it should.
I agree.
And you need to be relying on multiple Kingdras on the board if you're going to use it as your attacker.
Yes, definitely.
That's the issue I've got.
Yeah, it's got a lot of nice ways to drag things out though, and can make for decent, interesting lines that people might not be currently looking at and doing.
So yeah, Kingdra's going to be interesting.
Yeah, Kingdra's going to have some interesting play, interesting builds. I would love to see what some of the top deck builders do with that list.
Yep.
I think it could have exciting implications in the meta.
Yep. I'm not fussed about the Sneasel or the Weevil.
I'm not, to be fair.
Revervroom, I'm not fussed by it, actually, I lie. Metal Maker.
Does Metal Maker have to be to Metal Energy? Or
No, it's any, I believe. It's Metal Energy, but I think you can attach it to any Pokemon, which is crazy. Once during your turn, look at the top 4, choose any number of basic, find there, and attach it to your Pokemon anywhere you like.
So it can be any.
Yeah. 280 HP. It's got 20 plus damage. If this Pokemon moves from your bench to the active spot, it does 120 more, so it hits for 140.
Yep.
Which is okay. But Speed Break.
Yeah.
250.
I was just about to say.
This is the good one.
Yeah.
250. Discard this Pokemon and all attached cards. Okay, It goes back to the bin. But you are not leaving a 2-prize liability set in the active.
I was just about to say, you haven't got a 2-prize liability lying around and waiting in play. Because it's 280 HP, which is too easily hit currently in the meta.
Yep.
I think there's too many liabilities at 280 that it's just 2 prizes.
So it's interesting.
It's interesting.
I don't think it's good, but it's interesting.
I don't think it's good. I think it could be an interesting, fun deck for a weeklies.
Yep.
But depending on your meta, you might not want to play that because your meta is quite competitive and you need to play a competitive deck to do well.
Yeah. Hypno.
Hypno's okay.
Interesting. Plus psychic colourless, 80 damage during your opponent's next turn if they attach an energy from their hand to the defending Pokemon.
Their turn ends.
That's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool.
Pretty control.
It is.
I like the fact that they put damage on it though.
I do too.
Because
I was going to say
it means you can't trap a basic like a Dreepy or a Charmander, right? Like you are knocking it out.
Yeah.
Therefore, there is no defending Pokemon. Therefore, your opponent could still play the game.
Yeah.
Quite cool.
Yeah, it's more for probably a lost box counter a little bit.
Yeah.
It's a few other bits that are countered, which there's ways around it, but it's interesting.
Other thing I like is it's from their hand, so doesn't mean attach like for turn.
Mm-hmm.
If you attach using Super Cold,
Yep.
or Teal Dance or anything from your hand,
Yep.
Your turn ends.
Yeah, as long as it's to the defending Pokemon.
Yes, which shuts down quite a lot.
Champao.
Yeah, which I think is quite interesting.
It is.
So.
Now.
Oh, this is the thing I'm most excited for in this set.
These are what I'm excited for too, because
Yeah.
they are lovely support Pokemon that are going to go in a lot of decks, I think.
Yeah, and the art rares are gorgeous.
They are. So it's Duskull, Dusclops, and Dusknoir.
Yep.
Duskull is just a basic 60 HP Pokemon. Meet up, put 3 Duskulls from your discard pile onto your bench.
Yep.
For 1 Psychic, and then for 2 Psychic, you attach for 2 Psychic, Mumble, 30 damage.
Yep. It's not great.
It's not great. There is a better Duskull in the meta right now.
Yep.
That's from Crown Zenith.
Yep.
So I'd play that over that one. However,
Dusclops.
these are what everyone are going crazy for. Dusclops and Dusknoir.
Yeah.
So for Dusclops, it's Curse Bomb. Once during your turn, you may put 5 damage counters on one of your opponent's Pokemon. If you placed any damage counters in this way, this Pokemon is knocked out.
So your opponent gets a prize, but you turn on things like Counter Catcher
Yep.
or Reversal Energy
Yep.
or anything, and you can choose where those 5 damage counters go.
Yes, so it could be gaining you a prize as well.
Yep.
It could be putting you on that last prize you need to take game sometimes.
Yep.
Because sometimes you have a situation where you haven't got the answers to be able to boss Pokemon back up or counter capture or prime capture that Pokemon back into the active.
Yep.
Dusclops is there providing the answer now.
It fixes a lot of maths as well.
It does. It's maths fixing. It's incredible.
Yep.
And then Dusknoir
Yep.
is exactly the same ability, except it's 13 damage counters.
Yeah, that's a bye-bye Greninja. That feels like that feels like it's targeted Greninja.
That does feel like it's targeting Greninja.
It feels like they've just gone, what's the most annoying number to hit? 30. Right, bang, you go.
Yeah.
Destroy.
Yeah. But it is also nice for fixing maths again.
Yep.
There is a lot of Pokemon in the meta right now where you can hit 200 quite easily.
Yep.
But that last 13 isn't always hit.
Yeah.
So you can take out a Zard there.
Yeah. Do you know what I also like this for?
Mm-hmm.
Being able to Greninja a 3-prize turn into Champao or anything with
Yes.
220. Because you put the
Yes.
13 on the benched 2-prizer, you boss up a 1-prizer,
Yep.
and then you use Greninja to knock the 1-prizer and the remaining damage on the benched one. Because
I agree.
13 plus 90 is 220.
Yep.
So it's Greninja's best and worst friend.
Yeah. It is incredible. And it is going to impact the meta a lot based off what we're seeing coming out of Japan.
Yeah.
There is so many lists that are currently right now utilizing this line in
Yeah.
total. Like some decks are leaving it at Dusclops, some are going all the way to the Dusknoir.
Yeah.
It all depends on what sort of space the deck has.
Anything that's running a candy goes all the way.
Yeah.
Also because they end up running more stage 1 variants to be able to make up for the lack of candies.
Yes, because I think every list I've seen that has run the Dusknoir has run a 2-2-2 line,
Yes.
which is magnifique.
Yeah, it's very, very good. It's going to be interesting to see. Again, you're giving your opponent those prizes, but you're able to turn on things that you might not usually be able to, particularly early on in the game. This pairs quite nicely with Salvatore, which is really good. So early on, say you're playing into a Zard, right?
Mm-hmm.
You've got Dusclops. You Salvatore the Duskull into Dusclops. Then you can discard Dusclops and knock out the Pidgey on the bench. That's 50 HP.
Yep.
The Call for Family one, which is quite cool. You could set up a Dreepy before you Flutter main it. So, or anything that's 70 HP, you can put 5 on it, and then you can flutter main 90 to the active 2 on the bench to put it at 70. Like, there's so much math fixing at the moment, and because it's an ability, Rabska, useless. Toadscruel, useless. Because they're all effects of attacks. Right?
Yeah.
Jirachi, useless.
Nope.
Is Rabska abilities?
Yeah, Rabska is... No, Jirachi is useless. It is effects of attacks only. Rabska, I'm just checking now.
Okay. Rabska is not relevant. See what I did there? Relor, the baby Pokemon. Prevent all damage from effects... Oh, damage from and effects of attacks, yeah.
Yes.
So it's useless.
It is useless.
But there is no way currently to stop this.
Yeah. This is one of the most math-fixing, meta-relevant cards
in a while
they have released for a long time.
Yeah, I think it's cool. I think it's interesting. It allows certain things that we currently don't have. Okay, you're having to... what I really like about this the most is it's the Pokemon is knocked out, not discarded, which means that you are having to sacrifice something to try and gain that lead.
Yeah, you're having to sacrifice something, but it can also mean that you are gaining an advantage back at the end of the turn.
Yep.
Because it's been putting the pressure on your opponent. Because yes, say you're drawing on 4th prizes, you've got a counter catcher in hand that you really want to use. You just go search for either the Dusknoir or the Duskull, and it just clops, and you're back online most of the time. Yeah,
you can use that counter catcher, get rid of that big setup piece, and watch them crumble basically. So yeah, they're going to be really, really relevant. I'm going to be looking for lots and lots of those. They are 3 of the cards with a proxy version available.
One of the other ones is the Kingdra has the proxy version available. The entire line.
I've got the list of proxies here, which is quite nice. So yeah, that's going to be cool. Cresselia, interesting.
Cresselia's interesting. I like the second attack.
Budget town map. I don't like its 3 psychic.
I don't like that it's 3 psychic, but I think that's why it's 3 psychic, because of the advantage you can gain. Yeah,
it's 80 plus damage. You can turn one of your face down prize cards face up. It remains face up for the rest of the game, and it does 80 more. So it does 160.
160. It is not bad.
It's okay. I'm thinking in Guardi, right? So you attach return, and then you attach 2, and you go down to 80 HP.
Yep.
You've done 160, and you've left yourself susceptible to Greninja, and you get to look at 1 prize.
Yeah. But
so does your opponent.
That 1 prize could be really relevant to your game.
It could. It's interesting. I think I prefer the other Cresselia in the current
I currently prefer the other Cresselia, but we don't know what's coming that could have an impact. Like, looking ahead a little bit.
Yep.
With rotation next year, we're losing the relevant Curlias.
Yeah.
We don't know what's coming that could replace them.
Anything, hopefully.
Hopefully we get something that replaces them and makes Gardevoir still relevant. Because we lose the Cresselia that's from Lost Origin, this could become a relevant Cresselia. Yeah,
could be. Well, I mean, it is the only Cresselia at that point, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the only Cresselia. Well, we've currently only got 1 Cresselia until this is printed.
Yeah. Sylveon's interesting, actually. I quite like this.
I like this too.
It's a 120 HP stage 1.
Yep.
There is currently the EV format with the Ascension attack.
Yes, there is.
Which lets you search your deck for an evolution and put it on it, basically.
Yep.
But this has for 1 psychic energy. This is what I like about this. 1 psychic.
This is what I like.
Flip a coin. That I don't like. But if heads, choose one of your opponent's bench Pokemon. They shuffle that Pokemon and all attached cards back into the deck.
Okay. This card really makes me want to have back the... I can't remember what it's called, but there's a card that let you make it so if you had to flip a coin...
You flip 2, right?
No, it was always heads.
Oh, was it always heads?
Always heads. There was one in the meta at one point that made it.
Yeah, there was one. Heads. There was one where if you flipped a coin, you could flip 2 coins instead.
Yeah.
And choose the result. So if you ended up with a heads and a tails, you choose if you heads or heads.
You choose whichever one was
so that it's interesting. Interesting card. Could be an interesting control piece. It's quite cool. I like it.
Yeah.
I don't think there's much more to say on it, is there?
No, I don't think so.
It's not.
Considering the second attack is pretty useless, really.
Yep. The Krogan can Toxicroaker. All right.
Okay. They're nothing special.
I hate these 3 energy cost attacks that do 180 damage.
Yeah.
Only because I feel like there are so much better ways to use the damage.
I also think that because right now the meta is so heavily on basics a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Because you've got quite a few decks that are heavily basic decks. As much as we have got these stage 2 big hitters that are doing incredible and are really meta relevant, you have also got these basic stage 1 decks that are just thriving as well.
Yep.
That makes that attack pretty useless.
Yep.
Because you're not doing the extra 90 damage, and it's a lot to put into just one attack.
Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like it.
I don't think it will see any play. I think if it sees any play, it will be a off-meta rogue list that might do okay because it's shocking people in a best-of-1 challenge or cup.
Yeah. The Bloodburn Ursaluna's interesting.
Yeah, I like it because it does fix the issue of attaching so many energy cards.
Yeah.
However, you have to have the energy in hand, which means you have to burn an earthen vessel, which means you have to find an earthen vessel and something to discard with the earthen vessel, as well as having an Ursaluna.
Or you have to drill burn energy retrieval
From your hand.
Yeah. So this Ursaluna has an ability, rule of thumb. Once during your turn, when you play this Pokemon from your hand to your bench, you may attach up to 2 basic fighting energy cards from your hand to this Pokemon. It's got 150 HP, and then its attack is 2 fight in 1 colour, so 3 energy again. So you're not only using the ability, you're also going to have to attach a turn to this. Mm-hmm. It's 100 damage plus. It does 30 more damage for each damage counter on your opponent's active Pokemon, which is basically just a finisher.
Yeah, it's basically a finisher. But it does also mean that you can't nest ball it out because you have to play it from your hand.
Yeah.
It is basically... You're having to search for it the same way as you search for Luminion.
This is a really, really, really bad version of Ursaluna EX.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah, basically.
So yeah, I'm not a fan of that personally.
No, I'd rather play Ursaluna EX, to be honest.
Slitherwing I'm not bothered about.
Slitherwing, it again depends on how relevant future Pokemon are instead of ancient Pokemon with Ironmoth.
Yep. Crobat.
Incredible.
Oh, right. So one of my favourite things when I first started was Crobat V. When you played it from your hand to the thing, you could draw up to 6 cards in your hand. I think it was back in the day. This has something really, really cool.
However, you have to play a certain card to be able to use it.
The certain card is also very good. We'll get to that in a second. So, draw support for Dark Pokemon is insane now. This is, once during your turn, if you played Janine's Secret Technique from your hand during your turn, you may draw cards until you have 8 in your hand. Bebarrel who? I think that's incredible.
Yeah, it is stupid good. I love it. I think it is going to be really meta relevant. And shockingly, it's got electric weakness. Yep. Which I wouldn't expect. I mean, if you're getting it in the active, it's most likely getting knocked out at 130 HP, but...
Yep. Yeah. But it's kind of cool. Poison Fang, 120 damage and poisoned, and then during check up with 2 instead of 1.
Yeah. Which...
So it's 140 damage.
You can do some proper damage if you have Sneasler and the Perilous Jungle out.
Yes. Yeah. Stage 2, though.
Stage 2, but if they hadn't made it a stage 2, it would be broken.
Yes. God, can you imagine if they didn't make it a stage 2?
That wasn't a stage 2. I think we would have some pretty dangerous...
Imagine if that was an EX.
That's why it's not an EX.
Yeah, can you imagine? That'd be absolutely crazy if it was.
It would be broken.
Yeah. Well, it's not like Pokemon to print broken cards.
No. Okay. Zorua, meh. I do like Zoroark, though.
Okay. Which is what? Talk to me.
So it's 2 colours, energy. This is the reason why I like it. 2 colours, energy, Phantom Jack. 60 times damage. This attack does 60 damage for each of your opponent's EX and Vs in play. Mm-hmm. With how EXs and Vs are relevant in the meta right now, especially with some cards we've still got to come. Yep. This could be a nice secondary attacker just to do some cleaning up or be a finisher.
Yeah, it's a weird one for me.
Yeah.
Because they're still printing stuff with V's written on it.
Yep.
When I think they should be printing things with rulebox written on it.
They did it with the end of tag teams as well, though. Yeah. So they printed tag teams on them until the end.
But I don't like that, specifically because I think and I feel wholeheartedly that they should be future-proofing their game a bit more than just being like, let's include V's for the sake of it. Just make it rulebox. Okay, sure, that hits Radiance, but...
I think that's why they've not...
Radiance have 0 downside.
I know Radiants have 0 downside to most of the time, but apart from with certain cards that turn them off right now.
Yeah.
But I still I think they are having to do that to be able to, such as what we've already mentioned with Poison Fang.
Mm-hmm.
If you shut off your Radiance, if say you're using this as a secondary in a deck where you've say already poisoned with Poison Fang,
yeah,
then you're making it so that you've turned off the abilities that are making it relevant with the damage counters, such as the Radiant Sneasler, if that's how it's played. Obviously, it could be played very differently, and I don't know because I'm not a master deck builder.
So yeah, the Zoroark's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I like that.
The second attack is not relevant at all. It's a dark and 2 colourless for 110, which is nothing really.
It's whatever. Inkay is interesting. Colourless. Look at the top card of your opponent's deck. You may have them shuffle their deck.
That is dangerous in control.
That's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool.
I like that. I think that's pretty cool. I mean, it's going to die, but it's pretty cool.
Have you seen Malmar, though?
Go on, talk to me about Malmar.
Okay, for 1 dark, Conspiracy Tentacles, switch one of your opponent's benched Pokemon to their active spell. This attack does 120 damage to the new active Pokemon. If you did not play Zeronic's Plan from your hand during your turn, this attack does nothing. Yeah.
Zeronic's Plan is another supporter in the new set that we'll talk about because it's so stupid.
Again, that's why I think this is a nice Pokemon to go in decks where you're running Zeronic's Plan.
Yeah.
Because you can do 120 damage and use it to take out the barrel or a draw engine that they are using that is just like...
Yeah.
No
for 1 dark.
For 1 dark.
It's so good.
That's why it is so good.
So good.
As much as you're saying Inky's going to get knocked out, Inky could get knocked out, but you just play another Inky and you've got a Malmar to go crazy.
I'm sad that they didn't do the Malmar in the same artwork they did the Inky, because I really like the artwork for the Inky.
I like the artwork on the Malmar.
Fair. Evital?
Evital isn't the worst.
This is interesting. So it's got Gnawing Winds, which is for 1 dark, put 2 damage counters on each of your opponent's Pokemon that has any damage counters on it.
Yeah.
So you could essentially, I guess, like, I don't know. Does it work in Serena? No, because it already needs so many bits. I'm trying to think of what it works in that lets you just like finish stuff off.
You need a damage spread deck.
Yeah. Frostlass.
Frostlass
Monkey Dory.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, that's actually kind of scary. So if you got 2 Frostlass plus 2 monkeys plus the Evital, you can spread 2 abilities. You can monkey off the damage off you, and then do an extra 2 damage to each Pokemon that's got damage on it. So you're doing 40 damage spread plus the 60s. That's kind of scary. And it already runs the Dark Energy because of Monk.
That might give that deck legs, and I don't like it.
I think it gives it wings.
You're lucky we're family friendly.
Yeah. That's kind of scary. In fact, that's really scary. And it's got 1 retreat as well.
Yeah. The secondary attack is
I don't care.
meh, don't care about it.
You're never attacking with it.
You're never attacking with it, apart from doing Gnawing Wings.
That's kind of scary.
However...
Right, this is the interesting bit.
No, I was going to say...
Oh?
A Jirachi kills that plan.
A Jirachi kills the Evital, sure.
Yeah.
But you then just fall back to not playing the Evital.
Yeah.
And people don't play Jirachi at the moment.
No, people don't play Jirachi at the moment because it's not relevant to play Jirachi.
Literally all Lost Box deck have binned it.
Everyone's binned it.
That's why Cresselia's come out.
Everyone's binned it because it's just not worth it. Because every deck that is doing well in the meta is so greedy that they haven't got the space for it.
Yeah. Interesting. Right, Okidogi EX.
Okidogi.
I like this guy. From...
Well, talk us through it then, Ben.
250 HP on a basic. 250! They've gone Ursaluna's 260. This is 250. Let's print some big, basic babies. So it's a basic EX Pokemon with a 3 retreat cost, so it's pretty hefty. No resistance, weak to fighting.
Yep.
It has 2 attacks. The first one is Poison Muscle. Search your deck for 2 basic Dark Energy and attach them to this Pokemon. Then shuffle your deck. If you attached any energy in this way, this Pokemon is now poisoned. Relevant. Very, very relevant. We'll get to why in a minute. Then it's got a 2 dark and a colourless energy. Stop doing this. 130 damage plus, if it's poisoned, it does 130 more.
However, it doesn't matter that it's 2 dark and a colourless because the first attack is a colourless.
Yep.
You're attaching 2 dark energy from your deck to that Pokemon with the first attack.
Stupid!
It is stupid.
It's such a good card.
They are printing big, basic beat sticks.
Yep. I love it. Okie Dokie is probably a funny Pokemon to have it on, to be honest with you.
It is.
But also it's like, yeah, I don't know. It's just funny. I like it. 260 damage the second turn.
Yeah.
It sets itself up.
It does.
If you go second turn 1, you just it's really cool. Anyway, Okie Dokie, that was it. Monkey Dory EX.
Okay, so it's got an ability called Skip a Beat.
Yeah.
If this Pokemon is knocked out by damage from an attack from your opponent's Pokemon, if you have a Petulant EX in play, your opponent takes 1 fewer prize cards.
Yep. And it's got Dirty Headbutt for 2 dark and a colourless, 190 damage. During the next turn, this Pokemon can't use Dirty Headbutt. Do you know what's really nice on this? Legacy Energy.
I was just about to say the exact same thing. Monkey Dory, Legacy Energy, Petulant EX in play.
Slap. But it is only 210, so it dies to a lot of things. It dies to 3 discards from Raging Bolt. It dies to a Miraidon. It's very, very easily knocked out by Chien-Pao. Zard literally just needs, like, a Mocky on it. We'll get to the Mocky in a minute.
Yep.
Like, I think it's a lot easier to knock out.
It's a lot easier to knock out, but Bravery Charm.
260. Vacuum.
Yeah,
there's counterplays and plays to all of it.
There's counterplays and plays, but the amount of decks that have dropped Vacuum right now.
Yep.
This makes it have to bring Vacuum back.
Yeah. I love Vacuum. Favourite card in format. I told you this before.
How many Vacuums do you have, Ben?
I have a lot. 80 something.
A lot. You have close to 100, I want to say.
I have a lot.
Just because it's his favourite card.
That's great.
Okay, Fezandipity.
Yes, EX. This is stupid. Take advantage. Go on.
Once during your turn, if any of your opponents were knocked out during your opponent's last turn, you may draw 3 cards.
If any of your Pokemon were knocked out. Not opponents. Don't knock out your opponent.
During your opponent's last turn.
You said if any of your opponents were knocked out during your opponent's last turn. I was like, please don't knock your opponents out, family friendly, okay. Beth. Stop
Pokemon,
encouraging.
Not opponents. During your opponent's last turn, and you can't use more than 1 take advantage ability during your turn. Then for 3 colourless, Cruel Arrow. This attack does 100 damage to one of your opponent's Pokemon. Do not apply weakness or resistance for benched Pokemon. So that isn't too relevant now with how Manaphy is about.
Yep.
But will become more relevant if people don't pick up Rabsca come rotation.
Yep.
Which is nice.
Yeah, it's interesting. The Cruel Arrow is nice, but the draw 3 is silly. Like, you can just hand bench, you could nest ball, bench it, and go, I draw 3 cards.
It means also late game, you're not scared of Ionoing yourself. Because really you can Iono yourself down to 1 card, even if it puts your opponent down to 1 card, draw 3 instantly.
Yeah. Very good. Very, very good card. Very, very good card.
Very relevant. Admittedly, it is only 210, so it's very easy to knock out.
Yep.
It is very easy to turn on counter catcher or anything in the meta right now with what we're seeing coming through on the rest of these cards.
Yep.
So the relevance of it is quite situational in some decks.
Yep.
However, it is incredible.
I do like it.
I love it.
Right, we're going to have to kick up a notch here. Petulant EX has an ability called Controlling Chains. I like this. This is really cool.
Yes.
Once during your turn, you may switch one of your bench Dark Pokemon, except any Petulant EX, with your active Pokemon. If you do, your new active Pokemon is now poisoned.
Yep.
You can't use more than 1 Controlling Chains each turn. So, it basically is a basic Pokemon to get your Zard from the bench to the active.
Yeah.
Sure, it poisons it. Relevant. We'll get to it in a minute. For Double Dark, it does 60 damage for each prize card your opponent has taken. Yes. Real nice finisher.
It is.
So, they're down to 1 prize card. You slap in for 300.
Yep. You are knocking most things in the meta out.
So, yeah. It's pretty cool. Genesect.
Ace Canceller. If this Pokemon has any Pokemon tools attached, your opponent can't use any Ace specs from their hand.
Interesting.
It's nice.
Yeah.
I like it. Interesting.
But
that's about it.
It's one-sided.
It is.
So you get to protect yourself, but stop them.
Yeah.
So if you want to make sure, like, you know, you don't want to get unfair stamped, for example, you Genesect, you attach a tool, and then you slap. Jamming Tower doesn't turn it off because it's still got the tool attached. It just doesn't do anything.
Yep.
This doesn't need the tool to do anything. It just needs it attached.
No.
I'm glad that it's any tool. They've not specified like it has to be a future booster with a future Pokemon or something.
Literally just can attach any tool, even if it doesn't do anything at all. So you can literally chuck this in Ancient Box and just attach an Ancient booster capsule to it.
Yeah, you can literally do
Not
anything.
that you probably would want to, but...
No. Just a side note, don't put it with TMs. The TM gets discarded at the end of your turn. I just know people are going to be like, oh, I'll put a Crisis Shot on it. It's like, cool, discard the Crisis Shot. What? The TM goes away. So yeah,
back
that's
on my turn.
interesting. Q-Font is cute. Copperjara is cool.
Copperage is decent.
That's the one.
Opponent can't play any stadium cards from their hand when this Pokemon is in the active spot.
Which is nice. And it does 230 damage if you choose to. 130 base, 230.
If you do, you can't attack next turn, though.
Yeah. Needs metal energy.
It needs metal.
Metang.
Yeah. 3 metal and 1 colourless.
Hitting for 230 is dumb on a 200 HP basic.
Yep.
1 prizer. 250 with a bravery charm, baby. It's pretty cool.
250. It's a basic. It's a.
Oh,
stage
sorry.
one,
Yeah,
so
stage
you
1. So, Rigid Band, baby. Yeah. Anyway.
Room, not that relevant.
No. Axew's cute, but not relevant. However. So, Fraxia has whenever an opponent plays an item or support card from your hand, prevent all effects done to this Pokemon. So it means you can sit on the bench, and you can go, you can't boss me, which is quite cool. Haxorus. Oh, actually, also, Fraxia stops Counter Catcher, Prime Catcher. Well, it doesn't stop them playing it, it just prevents the effects.
Yeah.
Haxorus. Now, this is going to be used in Drago.
More than anything.
For 1 fighting energy, if your opponent's Pokemon has any special energy attached to it, it's knocked out.
Bye-bye, Lugia.
Yep. Whack down a Sinnoh, then slap them with this.
Yep.
Stupid. It's really cool.
And then this next card is a massive counter to Lost Box. There is another card with this character's name in the title later, what we will go through.
Yep.
But it's a Kyurem. And the main reason you are going to play it is for its ability Anti-Plasma.
Yep.
If your opponent has any cards in their discard pile with Colress in its name, this Pokemon's Triforce attack can be used for 1 colourless energy.
Bearing in mind, it's usually 2 water, 2 metal, and a colourless.
It whacks it down from a whopping...
A whapping?
A whopping?
Whap.
A whopping 5 energy count to 1.
Yep.
It is dumb.
And it's bench sniped 3 Pokemon for 110.
Yes.
They've gone, I hate you, Cramorant.
Yeah. It is targeting down.
Yeah.
It is targeting Lost Box heavily.
I think this is included in not every deck, but most decks as a one-off.
It is a one-off in most decks.
Like, a lot of decks that struggle with bench sniping stuff,
Yeah.
they will swap Greninja for this. Like, the reason you play Greninja
It's for bench snipe.
is for bench sniping, but...
Predominantly. However, there is decks that will use it just for the draw.
Well, yeah. But this is stupid. It kills Lost Box.
It does.
If anybody plays Lost Box to a national or an international now, good luck. Because this card is very, very, very good.
Yeah, Manaphy is going to be targeted like hell because people are just going to GG's, Counter Catcher, Prime Catcher, Boss, Cancelling Cologne, cure him.
Literally, Chempao loves this. Chempao goes, oh yeah, I'll take another attacker for my deck that also bench snipes. Thank you.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's crazy. I like it. Meowth, Persians,
Meh.
The Eevee's cute.
Eevee's cute. Not gonna be the one you choose to play.
No.
Furfro.
Bulk. Stuffle Bulk, Beware Bulk, Mocky, trainers. Right, Binding Mocky is stupid, right?
Binding Mocky is crazy.
Did you miss power tablets? How about more damage for your poison Pokemon?
We are reprinting you.
Oh, it is a tool. It's not an item, it's a tool. It's a tool.
It's a tool.
Yep. The attacks of the poison Pokemon that this is attached to do 40 more damage. Zard Turn 1 now hits for 220. Greninja, if poisoned, hits for 130 active, 90 bench.
Nope. Oh, yeah, 90 bench.
Yeah.
Yeah.
130 active, 90 bench. What is it? Ursaluna, if poisoned, 280.
It is a...
It's so good!
It's a card you're not going to attach until you need it either.
Yep.
You're not going to attach it if you're not using it that turn because of how easy it is going to be to get rid of with Lost Vacuum.
Yep.
We are screwed if they do not reprint something to get rid of tools when rotation comes.
Field Blower's coming. I can feel it. I can feel Field Blower.
Field Blower has to.
Mark my words, buy your gold Field Blowers now because they're currently a tenner, I think, and they're going to probably go up to like 30 quid. Buy them now. I reckon it's coming in the next 12 months.
It has to because otherwise, like tools are just going to run riot.
Telling you, Field Blower. Anyway, Cassiopeia. This is Penny's alter ego. It says you can use this card when it's the last card in your hand. Search your deck for 2 cards and put them in your hand. Yeah, it's okay.
It's okay.
It's not great. It's okay.
No, it's not great. Now, this is the other card what Kieran will target down.
Yep.
Chorus's Tenacity.
Yep.
Search your deck for a stadium card and an energy card, reveal them, and put them in your hand.
That's
then
really cool.
For your deck.
That's really cool.
It's really cool. Probably going to be a one-off if anyone's going to play it.
Yep.
I can't see it being any more than one-off. But it's another option to turn on your Kierans.
Yeah. Imagine if you could put your Chorus in their discard. That'd be cool. The worst A-Spec ever printed. I thought Neo Upper was bad when it first came out. Then they printed the Dangerous Laser.
It's a terrible hypnotoxic laser, really.
Your opponent's active Pokemon is burnt and confused.
It's a terrible hypnotoxic laser, really.
Cool. So do you know what they do? They retreat.
Unless you're putting them down to 10 HP at the end of your turn.
20, right? Burns 20.
Burns 20, but all you have to do is put them down to 10 or 20.
Stupid. Scolipede.
Scolipede, if you could... Scolipede is a deck I really want to try and get working for locals.
Scolipede. Yeah, it's bad. I'm not going to waste time.
No.
Janine's Secret Technique. I like this. This means that Dark Pokemon are even better than they were before.
Yep.
Sorry, the cat is... Do you want to come up and say hey again? Okay, you want to read this one for them? Choose up to 2 of your Dark Pokemon. For each of these Pokemon, search your deck for a basic Dark energy and attach it to that Pokemon. Then, shuffle your deck. If you attach any energy to your active Pokemon this way, that Pokemon is poisoned. Oh, mate. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it is incredible. It is another way just to get your active Pokemon poisoned so that you can turn on your Binding Mochi.
Yeah, but it also means that you can run it in, like, Turbo Moon and not need to Sada. Because you rip it from deck, not from discard. So it's like, oh, I now have 8 Sadas. This one's early game, the Sada's late game.
This is just...
It's stupid.
It's stupid.
It's literally stupid. And the thing is, if you don't attach it to the active, it doesn't get poisoned.
Yep.
Silly card.
It is
I need 4 of them.
Next one. Okay, Ben, I know you hated the last A-Spec.
Yep.
But this one is just as bad, if not worse, in my opinion.
Talk to me.
Neutral Center.
Yep.
Prevent all damage done to your Pokemon that don't have a rule box by attacks from their opponent's Pokemon EX and Vs. If this card is in your discard pile, it cannot be put into your hand or shuffled into your deck.
Do you know how I feel about that card?
How do you feel about it?
Pretty neutral. Do you know what is a good stadium, though? The Night Academy.
The Night Academy is incredible.
Yeah, I think this is pretty cool. Only because there's a lot of things that are going to be coming out that like let you discard stuff from the top of your deck, things that you want to draw again,
it's
or
not
whatever.
Relevant now.
Nope.
It's relevant in the future.
Yes. Night Academy. Once during each player's turn, that player may put a card from their hand on top of their deck. So, for example, if you need to, I don't know, guarantee something with Scrovit, you can keep the one card that you want to keep on top.
Yep.
Scrovit Nestash, draw that one card.
Yep.
Then you can bib for the extra 4.
Yes, you can.
Pretty cool.
Next one is a nice combo with Night Academy for the future, not for now.
There's a Slowking coming that's very good. But we'll talk about that in another set. Night Stretcher.
Night Stretcher.
Yeah.
Put a Pokemon or basic energy card from your discard pile into your hand.
Love cards that have flexibility. I said this to you earlier about like if a Pokemon had 2 abilities, it would be cool. This being able to choose a basic energy or Pokemon is nice. I love Super Rod for the same reason.
It is.
Pseudo Clara.
It's also nice because say you need an attachment for turn, and you need you need to say use a Sada, for example.
Yep.
You can do that. No problem. You can do both now.
Yep.
When all your energy's in your discard pile.
Yes, of course. Pokevital A, another A spec that's interesting. Heal 150 damage from a Pokemon. You can't use it more than once.
Yeah, but again, you can't get it back from your discard pile.
Yeah.
Which I like that they've added that on because it prevents Silene from being able to reuse some of these A specs.
Yeah, but I don't think that's that powerful.
No, it's not that powerful.
The worst tool I think I've ever seen.
Power Hourglass. At the end of your turn, if the Pokemon this card is attached to is in your active spot, you may attach a basic energy from your discard pile to that Pokemon.
What, at the end of the turn?
At the end of the turn. You've got to hope that Pokemon does not get knocked out if you're using this.
Yeah. It's weird. I'm trying to think of Pokemon that have an ability that's like, if this Pokemon has any... Oh, Okie Dokie, right?
Okie Dokie.
Actually, from last set, Twilight Masquerade, if you've got a Dark in your bin, you can attach it, it gets 100 more HP.
Yeah.
So it's now at 270.
I can see it being relevant there, but you're not really going to play that Okie Dokie.
No, it's bad.
It's bad.
And then arguably one of the best cards in the set, to round off everything, is Xerosix, whatever it's called. This plan. It's on the screen. Look at the card.
Xerosix plan.
It says your opponent discards cards from their hand until they have 3 cards in their hand.
Disgusting for control.
Yeah. Well, disgusting for a lot of decks. I think it's either one or because so many decks build up this massive hand size, right?
Yeah.
You expect to Iono. I can easily see an Iono swapping out with this.
Yeah, I can too.
So that you can just be like, right now you're down to 3, and they're like, oh, bum. So, yeah, very, very good card. Very interesting.
Yeah.
Big takeaways from the set. Yeah. I personally really, really like the Dusclops Dusknoir line.
Yep.
Moki.
I really like Bandy Mochi.
Pheasantipity EX, draw 3.
Yep.
Insane. And then I also love Janine's Secret Technique, but I love Dark Pokemon. So it's okay.
I love the Haxorus as well. Like
the one shot.
It's gonna have
special energy.
It's got a special place in my heart.
Yeah, which is interesting. It doesn't work with Mist Energy.
It doesn't, no.
Because Mist Energy says just ignore all effects, and that's an effect, not damage. But yeah, interesting. I'm looking forward to this set. I think it's going to be kind of cool. We'll see what happens.
Yep.
And then, yeah, I guess we'll really quickly go on to World's Rumours, because this podcast is going to be a bit long.
Yeah, this is just a quick one because it came out over the weekend that we don't know how true this is, but supposedly next season we're going to have a lower best finish limit.
Yep, currently 6. It's going to down
6.
To 4, I think
down
you said.
To 4. And your ICs, which is currently unlimited, so you can go to all 3 and get points from all 3 that we currently have.
Mm-hmm.
We did have 4 at once upon a time and would love for 4 to come back again.
Yep.
You are limited to points at 1. And you then have to finish in the top X number or percent in your region to be able to qualify for Worlds.
Yeah, I think it's silly.
It's silly, considering... But then again, we have seen the highest number of people qualify for Worlds this year.
We have, but I don't think that's bad. I think... So... I'm going to try not... Because I could talk about this for an entire hour. I could do a whole episode on this.
Yes, you could.
There has been discussion recently about elitism in Pokemon.
Yep.
And do I think your World Championship should be a representation of the best players? I do.
I do too.
I really do.
Yeah.
However, quantify best players. Is it players that are good at being able to turn up to few tournaments and perform incredibly well?
Yeah.
Or... is it players that are able to turn up to lots of tournaments and consistently perform well?
Yep.
Maybe not top 8 every tournament, but top 120, 28 or whatever.
Well, I mean, you see it all the time. There is times where arguably one of the best players in the game, Azul, will bomb out of day 2.
Yeah.
And he won't make day 2. But then there's some days he will turn up and win. Like this season, he won 2 regionals, but he went to LAIC and didn't even make day 2. So it's like...
Does that mean he's the best, one of the best players in the world? Does it mean he's bad? Like,
it swings and roundabouts.
Quantify it.
it is hard to quantify what you mean by best player in the world.
If you have a bad day,
yeah,
you're not going to perform.
Bad day, bad deck selection, read the meta wrong. All three of those things can impact something because there's so many different factors that impact how you're going to play on a given day.
Yeah, which is crazy. And I actually really like the current qualifying system. I wouldn't mind seeing the threshold increase on points.
Which we spoke about last time.
Yep. I also don't mind the BFL finish getting lowered for regionals and for cups and challenges.
I don't either, because it means you then have to perform better at the bigger events.
Yep.
Which, in my opinion, proves that you are a better caliber of player because you're performing better out of some of the world's best.
Yep.
Do I think that we should change it and make it a top finish? No, I think keeping it at the current structure with slight adjustments is great.
So Top X does two things. Number one, it allows them to flex that percentage or that number of players however they want.
Yep.
Number two, it encourages players to continuously play throughout the entire season. You can't just play season one, max out cups and challenges, get all the regional points and be like, cool, I've got my invite, I don't need to play for 3 months.
Yeah.
That's a positive. That second one's a positive.
However, it does show elitism to the people who can afford to do that.
Yes.
There is people in Pokemon who can't afford to be going to X number of regionals a year. They have to go to however many that are in a travelable distance. We are very lucky that we're in Europe and everywhere is within a travelable distance.
Yep.
However, in America, for example, not everywhere is a travelable distance to them, because they could be having to take a flight from the East Coast to the West Coast
to play a cup.
Well, not necessarily a cup, but to play in the challenge, in the regional, because if they don't play in that regional, they're going to drop out of the top X.
Yeah, which I don't like. That I don't like.
No.
I like the threshold. I think that we should have lower BFLs if they're wanting to push a caliber of player, but I think we should reward the players that are able to go around and travel. I'm saying this from a selfish point of view as well, right? Like I'm objective as much as I can, but selfishly, my plan for this year was to have a goal. My goal is to hit that set number of points.
Yeah.
I will be complete when I hit that goal. If I have to keep chasing stuff, it will kill my enjoyment of it.
Yeah.
Because I don't actually have an end goal until the very end of the season. And if I'm at the bottom of that percentage, if I'm ill, if I perform badly, if I can't make something but somebody else can, that is outside of my control, and I won't be able to qualify for Worlds.
It's not just that, but it puts immense pressure and strength on people's finances for being able to travel to Worlds.
Yep.
Surely, if we are having players qualify, you want players to go to Worlds.
Yep.
If you are making it so that they have to wait until sometimes NAIC to be able to see if they've qualified, that's like 2 months before Worlds.
Yeah.
Not everyone can afford to book a flight 2 months before Worlds.
Nope.
To book a flight, a hotel, and prices will have gone up substantially from when they first announced the dates.
Yeah, which is mental. Like, people are saying, ironically, it's players that are in that top X percent that are like, oh, I like these changes. I like my little group. It's like, just stop. Like, this game is growing, right? Yeah. We're seeing players from all sorts of games, Magic, Yu-Gi-Oh, even Lorcana and Star Wars and stuff, all coming over to play Pokemon because of the prize pools.
I was going to say, not just prize pools, because of the price of buying a deck.
Yeah.
Most decks in the meta right now, you can buy base set versions of
50 quid?
50 to 60, 70 quid.
Yeah.
I think the most expensive is probably 70 quid right now.
Yeah, and that's Lugia, isn't it? I think.
And that's Lugia.
But then if you increase, I don't know. I appreciate it. I understand why. I get that they're wanting to because eventually we will end up with like 5,000 people in the World Championships.
I think right now is not the time to do with the change.
No. Do it. You could do it next year. Yeah. Or just keep increasing CP limits. Like, there is argument to say that, well, if you're just increasing CP limits, you're requiring people to go to more regionals and stuff. Well, in that case, up your BFLs.
Yeah.
Like, there are ways and means and plays around all of this that allow people to
chase an invite.
And ultimately, from my stance and from where my head is at, I need a fixed goal to be able to work to something.
Yeah, especially when you can, like, bomb 3 events, for example.
Yeah.
If you bomb 3 events, that could be your season over.
Yeah. Which is crazy.
Just because, like, everyone has a top X And if you're not in that top X before a certain point, it makes it a lot harder to climb, because there is people that are going to keep going to those events to prevent the people below them from getting the points.
Yeah. It's interesting. I don't like the top X percent. It depends, right? If the top X is top 25%, then it might be okay. But I don't know. Again, from my own personal selfish requirements, I need a fixed number to earn. Like, I really thrive off being able to know I only need to earn, well, I say only, I need to earn X amount of points. They could put it at 1,000 points.
Yeah.
If I know I need to earn 1,000 points, I will earn 1,000 points.
Yeah, you can push for it. You can
but nobody but me is stopping me from doing that.
Yeah.
If there are certain things that are outside of my control or whatever, and I get pushed out of the top X only because I can't make that one event that everybody else that's below me can, I'd feel really awful.
Yeah. No, because that's what happened to a lot of people's invites based on last season. They didn't, this season, they didn't get entry to NAIC when it went on sale.
Yeah.
That meant they could not qualify because they could not hit their limit.
Yep.
But that was also on them because they couldn't go to events earlier in the season.
Yep.
They left it to the last event of the year, which at that point, it is your fault a little bit.
It swings and roundabouts. You're not going to make anybody happy.
No.
Either way. Well, actually, you are. If you just leave it as it is, that everybody expects and everybody's come to terms with, you'll be fine. The moment you start changing stuff is when you start having issues.
And that's where you see people start memeing.
Yes.
And saying...
Speaking of memes, what's your favourite sort of memes that you've seen? Because there's multiple people on Twitter, it's myself included, that have put, like, fake world requirements coming up.
Okay, so I will read my favourite. I will make it a bit more family-friendly, because it's currently not the most family-friendly.
Yeah. Mine actually comes from Azul.
Oh, I've seen that one. That one is funny.
Azul says, I hope the new system is that there is no system, and at the end of the year, TPCI just picks players that are super dope and have good riz.
Which I think everyone can get behind, because you want an event that's got good players that are fun and enjoyable to players. So my favourite is, okay guys, I've confirmed a new qualification system for next season through my fellow judge friends. Invites will in fact be given out based on how fat your bum is. BBLs are not illegal. Better start getting that protein in, and don't forget to do those Bulgarians and hip thrusts. It is incredibly funny, that one, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's nice. I posted one on Twitter that entry will be awarded based on play points. CP now only gives you bragging rights. If you own 10 Pikachu plushies, you get a ticket. And it's all going to be done via webcam because it's more reliable than live. That last one's fact.
Yeah, that last one is fact. I also do like, this is a shout out that was my other option. World invite requirements leaked. You'll need 500 points. League Cup finishes limited 4, so quite a few points from majors. Devotion to the one true Lord. We don't know who that is, but whoever it is. 2 Holy Grails. The poison for Cusco. The poison specifically chosen to kill Cusco. Cusco's poison. I don't think that's too bad.
I mean, as Kitty said earlier when we were talking about this, the second Holy Grail's a bit of a stretch. I think
that's the stretch. No,
the first one is fine. It's just that second one that's a bit of a stretch.
I think it's the devotion to the one true Lord, really, because we don't know what one true Lord they're on about.
It's clearly Mario.
No, it's Pikachu.
No, it's Snorlax. What are you about? That's my boy. Oh dear. Anyway, so yeah, we don't know what the changes are going to be for Worlds 2025 season. I hope it's not a lot. I'm sure when we find out, we'll make a post on it or something. And I'm sure, considering the season starts in 6 days' time.
From time of recording.
From the time of recording. Pokemon should have announced it before the season starts. However, because then people get to plan.
However, last season they did wait till mid to late July before announcing.
Yeah.
So, we'll wait and see.
Pokemon. Come on. But I want it by the 1st of July. Hand your homework in. Right? Else it's detention. Else you're not going to Worlds. How about that? Yep. Hand your homework in. Get it all sorted and certified and signed off before the season starts. Because what I don't want to be doing is for the first 3 weeks of July, travelling around the country, spending stupid amounts on fuel and stuff, just so I can go to as many cups and challenges as possible, for you to turn around and gone, get wrecked, kid. Hand it in. I don't want to see no excuses. The dog can't eat this homework. Okie dokie can't eat it. Right? Neither can Zacian. or Zamazenta or any dog Pokemon. I want none of that. Hand it in. Don't be silly.
We'll see you next week, guys.
Thanks for watching. Take care. I really hope they hand the homework in.